A lot of people are struggling with their sales process, prospecting, recruiting, transitioning from like building rapport and having a conversation to like actually bringing up their product or opportunity. Even today, I find myself struggling with this. How many of you ride the struggle bus sometimes where like you go through a dry spell of not recruiting anybody, not enrolling anybody, no new customers? I notice what happens is I start getting into salesman mode. I start feeling like I'm in convincing mode. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is you're trying to convince this person. You're trying to push this person. You're trying to get them to do something that maybe they don't want to do. You're trying to get them to do something that maybe at first they were interested, but now it seems like you're trying to convince, beg, or persuade them to do something, and it doesn't feel right. And number one, I think when it comes to prospecting, follow-up, recruiting, selling, it's all the same thing for the most part, right? If you have belief in what you're doing, you have that alignment, it comes off a lot more naturally. But if you've been beat down a little bit, how many of us, like, life sometimes beats us down a little bit? You kind of forget what you're fighting for. You kind of forget like why you're doing this business, and you kind of get away from that, and your confidence isn't there. Like in the beginning, you were ignorance on fire. Like I remember when I first saw the presentation, I thought everybody was going to join. I thought everybody was going to want to get rich with me. And then years later, getting on social media, and we created this ATM system, and I had this like perfect system for duplication, and it was all everybody was promoting until it got old, until we'd had been doing it for a couple years and it wasn't as exciting, and people started reinventing the wheel and overcomplicating a simple business. And I see this time and time again. People forget what they're fighting for, and they forget the basics, right? You got to master the mundane. That's what my mentor used to tell me in the early days. Master the mundane. If you're not filling the funnel with new humans, if you're not exposing your products and opportunity to new people, you're probably not going to grow a successful long-term business. Like it's not that hard to get rich once, right? Like once you do it, it's not that hard to do. But like it's a lot harder to maintain your success and maintain the growth. That's the hard part. And it's because we forget what we used to do when we were brand new, when we were ignorance on fire. Some of you are knowledge on ice. How many of us know what I'm talking about? Right? I've been there too. So you got to get back to basics. And what are some of the basics? Well, telling your story. Whenever I feel like I'm trying to convince someone or sell someone, I back up and I ask questions. What would you like the next step to be? Write that down. When I'm following up with people and I'm finding they're not pulling the trigger, what would you like the next step to be? Well, I think I just want to start off with some product. Okay, awesome. Which products were you most excited to try? Which products do you think you'd be excited to promote? Gut health, mental health, weight loss? Are you really into fitness? Are you really into the collagen, right? Like, and then you send them some before and after pictures like you used to do in the beginning. Like, I'm sorry, but facts tell, stories sell. So when you tell people your story, how I lost 30 pounds in 90 days. So you got to become a great question asker. Tell stories. Facts tell, stories sell. Tell people why you got started. Anytime I'm in a conversation with someone, and sometimes I'm in a hurry, right? And I mess up and I'm like, watch this video. Let me know when you're done. We'll hop on a call if you want to chat, and we'll map out a plan. And I'm going to put you in a chat tomorrow with some other people. And it's just like, it's like I'm coming at them too quick. And I need to back up, get back to the basics, tell my story. Here's why I decided to partner with this company. In fact, write this down. You should have 3 to 5 reasons why you're in the business you're in. Like your personal reasons. Maybe you're overworked and underpaid. Maybe, being a school teacher isn't as fulfilling as it once was. Or you're working too many hours and you're not home with your kids. You've got daycare instead of mommy care, right? Maybe you're doing this business because you want to fire your boss or be able to have the freedom and flexibility to earn income from home. Or you wanted to get in the best shape of your life because you got grandkids now, and, grandma wants to be there with her grandkids when they're graduating high school. What are your personal reasons? Could be product reasons, business reasons. You have to have your reasons, because guess what? People don't relate to ingredients. People relate to people. Like when I talked about my MLM PTSD and how I felt like every company I was in, it was all about recruiters recruiting recruiters to recruit more recruiters. And it was all hype. It was all recruiting. It was all opportunity. Like the product is the opportunity. And it was like all the volume was coming from self-consumption. All the conversation was around the business. And I felt like I didn't care how much money I made if my team was broke. And if my team wasn't winning, I don't want to be involved. That was my mindset. That's why I walked away from the traditional MLM model. Now, with that being said, not everybody related to that. Some people didn't have that background. So I would also insert other people's stories. This is like an advanced strategy, right? You start becoming like a story collector. And you have all these stories in your memory bank. So if you come across someone that like, John, this person's brand new. They don't relate to MLM PTSD. They've never been in MLM. They've never done anything in direct sales or network marketing. Like they don't speak that language. Like, okay, cool. Then you can insert other people's stories. You might say, well, John, I didn't lose 30 pounds on our products. Like I need to gain weight. I can relate. By the way, this is another one. Feel, felt, found. I know exactly how you feel. Some of you are going to be like, that's old school. I still do it today. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way, but here's what I found. You don't have to lose a lot of weight to sell weight loss. You can share other people's stories. Let me give you an example. If you were the CEO of Huggies Diapers, you probably believe in your product. You think your product is the best in the market. You wouldn't say, well, we're like number 7. There's like 6 better brands that are more affordable and a better brand. No, you're going to believe in your diaper. You think you've got the best diaper on planet Earth. But let me ask you a question. Are you wearing the diaper? Do you have to wear the diaper to know that the diaper works? No, you don't have to wear the diaper to know the diaper works. The same thing with our products. Whether you're selling lotions, potions, pills, water filters, skincare, hair care, cleaning products, knives, bowls, beads, pots, pans, jewelry, legal service, travel service. I don't care what you're selling. You got to have stories. Some of you have gotten away from the storytelling, from sharing before and afters or sharing examples. So you want to have 3 to 5 reasons why you're personally involved with the business you're involved in, because people relate to people. So when you say, hey, I wanted to fire my boss, I want to retire my spouse, I want to retire my parents, I want to put my kids in private school, I want to raise my children, I want mommy care versus daycare, whatever your story is, you tell people that, because when you're talking to a person that's just like you, guess who the easiest people to sell to are? People just like you. You know, you're a 59-year-old woman going through menopause. Guess what? You should probably talk to women that are just like you, experiencing the same things you're experiencing. Those are the easiest people to talk to. A 59-year-old woman is not going to relate to a 22-year-old. Stop trying to relate to someone that you're nothing like, at least in the beginning. Now, down the road, right, because you're collecting stories and you know all these different people from different backgrounds, like maybe you're not a fitness guru, but there's some fitness gurus in your company that you can introduce to your prospects in group chats, right? You can tag your prospects in their video, their story, their before and after. You didn't lose 100 pounds, but you know someone on the team that lost 100 pounds. So when your prospect says, I want to lose 100 pounds, you can tag them in that video. You can just be a story collector. So your story is also evolving over time. So here's the other thing you want to write down. 3 to 5 reasons why your company is the company you chose. It could be the products, the natural ingredients, the results, like you used the product so you knew it worked. It could be your referral program, could be your comp plan, but be specific. Talk about it, because if you don't have your personal reasons and you don't have your company reasons why you chose the company and the product you did, people are not going to understand the value proposition. And by the way, I also hear people say, wow, I'm not converting sales. Like people, they're sticker shock or they can't afford the products. Well, first of all, this is why you want to do good, better, best. So you have a good option, which is the most affordable option. Then you have better, there's more product, but there's more value. It's all about value. Sometimes we forget this. People will spend the money. They will find the money if they see the value. People say, I don't have money to start a business, but they find $1,000 to buy a new iPhone. Now you'll say, yeah, but there's a payment plan. Well, you can use Klarna, credit cards. Listen, there's good debt and bad debt. Starting a business when you don't have the money, but you found the money. Listen, people say, I don't have the money. You don't lack resources. You lack resourcefulness. This is straight from Tony Robbins. People will find the time if they see the value. People will find the money if they see the value. Let me ask you a question. If you didn't have $500 and you got arrested tonight and the bail was $500, would you find the money? You don't have $500, but the bail's $500. If you don't get that, you're going to stay in jail for a couple months until you have your court date. Every single one of you would find the money. Now you would say, well, John, that's different. That's an emergency. If you're over the age of 18 and you don't have $500, woo, it's an emergency. You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking emergency. You don't got $500. What you're doing isn't working. You can't afford to say no. But here's the thing. We don't want to convince people. You never want to feel like you're chasing or begging someone to get rich with you. You're chasing or begging someone to buy your product. I'm always launching new teams. Now, I shouldn't say always, but my goal is to always launch new teams. So that's one of the reasons I reach out to people like, listen, I'm launching some new teams, or, hey, we've got a big event coming up. Or, hey, we've got this crazy promo. Or, hey, this is the best time of year. This is the best time to get started. Why? Because going into the spring season, like bathing suit season, like what we do, the products that we offer, they can help people get in the best shape of their life. We can help people get, fit before they have to start wearing a bathing suit, right? The point is, for us, historically in our business, March, April, May, June are like the 4 best months of the entire year. At least that's based on the last 8 years, right? I also know November is huge. So when I'm prospecting people in September and October, I'm just talking all about November because November is the biggest month of the year. We have the best sales. So you should have some clarity. Whatever company you're in, it doesn't matter whether you're in network marketing, direct sales, you're selling products, services, it doesn't matter. You should have these reasons. You should have these stories that you're collecting because people relate to people. You should also, again, this is more advanced, this is next level, but when you're talking to someone, let's say I'm talking to someone in Canada and I want to introduce them to other people on the team so they can, relate to those people, I'm probably going to find some other Canadians. Or like, let's say they're really into, I don't know, they had MLM PTSD like me, right? I'm going to introduce them to other people outside of me that they can relate to that also came from other companies that had some not so great experiences. Maybe I get someone in real estate and I'm like, ooh, let me introduce her to some other realtors on the team. Do you get this? If I got a dude, I'm going to introduce that dude to some other dudes on the team. I got some young moms. I'm going to introduce them to other young moms. Like, again, do you see how this is strategic? This is intentional. So many of you are not intentional. You're just selling the facts. You're selling the benefits. There's no stories. There's no testimonials. And also, just so you know, the fortune's in the follow-up. What does that mean? Well, that means, unfortunately, you're going to have some people that ghost you. They say no. They ignore you. They are on the maybe fence, like I talked about in the beginning, but because you're persistent. See, persistence always beats resistance. So if you keep going, you keep showing up, you keep putting out the stories, you show up with passion, like people are attracted to people that are on fire, that are excited. The people that have the most success are the ones that are great relationship builders.